I used to think that knowledge would set me free, that information would set me free, that maybe I just get a little bit more brains and a little bit more information and a little bit more strategy and a little bit more things and understanding, then I would finally feel free. But if you look and read the Bible and you read the teachings of any sacred ancient text of people who knew a lot more than you and anyone else, you'll know that they all teach you that only the truth will set you free. Only the truth has the power to give you the freedom and sovereignty that you're looking for. And the only way that you can uncover the truth is by letting go of your lies about the world, and your lies about yourself, and the lies about everybody else. I was a liar for years. I told myself lies. I held myself to the lies about myself and the lies about the world that felt comforting because it was safer than being exposed to the truth and accepting the truth. That was no amount of external things, no amount of external validation or materialistic things, or no amount of bodies could give me the satisfaction and the fulfillment that I wanted within myself, that I told myself that I was looking for. But every time I would just tell myself that, hey, I just needed a little bit more. I needed a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that to give me this feeling of fulfillment that I'm looking for. Maybe I just need to understand. Maybe I just need to take the other red pill. Maybe I just need to take the red pill and I just need to understand how these specific things work in society. Maybe I need to blame these people in society for all my problems. Maybe it's women's fault why dynamics are so bad, or for society's problem, because that takes away my own responsibility. That takes away ownership of myself and what I actually can do for myself in the world, because that's familiar. But that was just another lie that I was holding myself to stay a slave to myself and to the world. And by hiding behind victimization or fear or anxiety or anger or any of these things, or pride, was all just a way for me to cope with who I was, to avoid change and avoid taking responsibility for the direction that I actually wanted to go in. Now, why am I sharing this? Well, for one, I found out and I was actually honest with myself as to what it was that I actually wanted, that I had the courage to let go of those fears. But it wasn't an instantaneous thing. It wasn't something that I was just like, I came to the realization, I took the clear pill, and then I was set free. No, this took a lot of dedication and sacrifice to see this growth and to actually become who I said that I wanted to be. Because stepping into your true self, stepping into who you actually want to be, isn't ever going to be a straightforward path. It's never going to be an easy path. It takes practice, right? And it takes shedding the layers of who you're not to reveal who you truly are. And so I'm sharing this because I see there's a lot of you out there that are in the phase that I was in years back, where you're still holding on to lies, right? And one of the biggest lies that we tell ourselves as men is that we just need to understand. We just need to understand how these things work. We need to absorb more information about how this thing works. We need to think more. we need to think more about how I can do this thing instead of actually becoming the person who could do that thing and succeed at that thing and become embodied enough to attract what it is you actually want. See, guys, we get very trapped in our minds and disconnected from our heart. And this really stems from early childhood, where we're taught that you will never be loved, you will never be accepted unless you behave a certain way. You will never be accepted unless you follow the rules that we set out for you. And what do they teach you in school? What do they teach you growing up when you're a kid? You have to absorb this information. You have to regurgitate this information. You are only worth as much as your ability to regurgitate certain information in a very specific way. And so naturally, our entire lives are built on seeking externally for external validation from other people. So instead of just absorbing information through school, it turns into chasing validation through success or status or how many girls that you can sleep with. These are all things that feel safe to go after because they're predictable, because we know that this is how we can be accepted by other people, by how many things that we can get. And all it's stemming from is the way that we are brought up. Because the way that everything is set up now is to disconnect you from your heart and keep you trapped in your mind, keep you chasing externally what you're lacking from within. And why am I talking about this now? Because I don't think there's anybody else that talks about this in this capacity. Because everybody that you hear talking online about, hey, how can you achieve whatever XYZ goal, whether it's financially or within your physique or your vitality or in relationships and attracting real love and intimacy into your life, it's all about strategy. It's all about methods. It's all about game. It's all about, hey, follow this step-by-step, 5-step routine to do this thing perfectly. But why is it that in a world where we have so much information, people read like a book a week? People are scrolling their phone all day, every day, absorbing unlimited amounts of information about various things that they're interested in. But seemingly nobody actually understands who they really are. Nobody is able to let go of the lies that they hold themselves to. Nobody cares enough to embody the traits in who they are trying to become. Because that would mean that they have to let go of the control. That would mean they have to let go of the lies that they tell themselves, that the external world, that external information will solve their internal problem. That would go against their belief. To think that they would have to change internally to receive a transformation goes against everything that they've learned, everything that they've been conditioned to believe about themselves. Do you see where I'm going here? Do you see? You will never see an internal transformation from an external variable. You will never see real change from anything external. You will never, no amount of chasing women, no amount of bodies will satisfy the love within yourself that you're searching for. No amount of status or success or money will satisfy that feeling of that lack of self-worth that you have within yourself. Why is it that so many of the most driven, ambitious, successful men are deeply suffering the most? Because it seems like the more that they get, the more that they know they have more to get, the more that they need, because they still lack that feeling of fulfillment and abundance within themselves, that they'll never feel like enough. And so they're always chasing. But here's the ironic thing. When you can actually feel that within yourself fully, when you can fill yourself with that abundance and gratitude and fulfillment, when you know that you already have everything you need, that's when you become truly detached from anything external that allows those things to come to you anyway. But not just anything, it's what's actually going to be best for you that opens the door for that to come into your life. This is why gratitude and surrender are heavily preached in any major religion, Christianity. They all teach this. Jesus is a big part of his teachings, is that you have to surrender your selfish desires, and you actually have to become grateful for what you want if you truly want what's best for you. If you want what's best for you, the most selfish thing that you could do is be comfortable with what you have, is to be truly satisfied with what you have, because only that can open the door to allow what you actually want to come into your life. It's only when we're feeling lack and desire that we ironically only attract more. We can attract more things, but these things are fleeting. They don't satisfy, and so we need more. We need to grab more. It's like eating McDonald's. It's like it's not fulfilling. Like it's not very filling. It's like it's fake food, right? So like the more you eat of it, the more that you feel like you need, right? Because it doesn't satisfy your hunger, your urges. It's the same thing. Nothing fake will satisfy the real urge that you're seeking within you. And this is a lie that we have to let go of. This is a lie that I had to let go of. But it's not something that you could just do instantly. You've heard it a million times. What I'm preaching to you, you've heard a million times, but you haven't embodied it yet. So you're looking for a method. You're looking for a strategy. You're looking for a step-by-step routine or a morning routine that can get you the change that you're looking for, because you're looking for something external to fix your internal state instead of actually doing the work yourself that will give you that permanent and lasting change that you're looking for. Now, I don't say this to be judgmental. I don't say this to be condemning. I say this because this was me. I say this because I'm coming from that place myself, and I've seen that side of lack of desire, of needing something externally to give me that inner feeling of conviction and fullness and abundance that I was looking for internally. And I'm telling you, you can only find that from within. You can only find that through embodiment. That's why this is the game that needs to be played. This is the game that needs to be embodied. Is that in 2026, there's an abundance of information, but nobody actually knows anything. Because the more that you know about yourself, the more that you can relate to everybody else, the more that you can actually relate to the world. This is why, I talk a lot about on my Twitter and on Instagram. I talk a lot about anima integration and Carl Jung. And it's so funny because some of the most integrated men that I know, that I've seen, that I've experienced being around, they don't know who Carl Jung is. They don't know what anima integration is. But yet, they're the most integrated men that there are. And yet the other side of that is the guys that I talk to in my DMs and just throughout my day about anima integration, these are guys that have literally read every Carl Jung book. They've probably watched hours of material on Carl Jung and shadow work and anima integration, and yet they're still falling back into the same cycles. They haven't been able to see the change that they're looking for, although it's been months or years of research and trying to understand and absorbing information and reading books and watching videos. Why is that the case, do you think? Why is that the case? I think it's fairly obvious. Because most people resort to absorbing information to avoid internal transformation. Because it feels safer. It feels more predictable. It's a way to avoid taking responsibility and actually taking the risk of changing who they are at their very core to permanent change. Because that's scary. Why would you want to do that when you could just... Why would you want to permanently change this area of your life if you could just read and try to conceptualize in your mind what it might look like for that to change for you? And then after reading that book or watching that video, if it doesn't satisfy, then you'll just go to the next one. Because the idea of getting secret knowledge that could eventually one day change the trajectory of your life gives you a bigger dopamine hit in the short term than actually doing the work that would give you that transformation. That's the harsh truth that nobody will tell you. No YouTuber will talk about this. They will just tell you, hey, follow this step-by-step routine to do this XYZ thing. They won't actually tell you that the real work that needs to be done is in here, is in your heart, and opening your heart. The only way that you can open your heart is by letting go of the things that are keeping your heart closed. And what's keeping your heart closed most of the time are the lies that you tell yourself, or the lies that you hold yourself to. The lies that you tell you about yourself, the lies that you tell you about the world, that you just need to understand, that you just need something externally to feel fulfilled, to feel whole. But it's all a lie. It's all a lie from the evil forces of the world that have molded your mind and corrupted your mind to think that you don't already have the capacity within you to see that change that you're looking for. You don't have that connection to your inner knowledge and inner knowing. You need to seek information from the sources. You need to seek information from citations and researchers who know better than you, who know more about you than you. But it's all a lie. Only you can change yourself. Only you can see the change and bring forth the change within you that will set you free.